a game that would determine the leader of the Spanish league table between Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. We witnessed a tactical masterclass from Hansi Flick. Let's break down this masterclass and understand how Barcelona won the game. Barcelona being the maroon, Atletico being the red. Barcelona approached the game in a 4-3-1 formation. Early on, we would see Atletico Madrid loop to press high up. This would be an intention to force errors from Barcelona that would force a high turnover, allowing Atletico the chance to attack Barcelona's 18-yard box. However, there was one flaw to this tactic from Atletico. Hansi Flick then would allow the pressure from Atletico, but he would then instruct his men to play long balls in behind. This would be an incredibly effective way to attack Atletico early on, as Barcelona had good runners in behind. This move from Barcelona would force Atletico to drop deeper into a mid-block or a low block, allowing Barcelona time and space on the ball. Barcelona would then build up in a back three to shape that would have Alejandro Balde overlap. To understand why this happened, we first have to look at how Atletico Madrid looked to defend. Atletico would defend in a compact 5-3 to shape that would mainly look to close off the central space. This shape prioritized closing off passes and space in its center. This would be evident in Barcelona having little to no time in the center of Atletico's defense, so we would see Rafinha invert and play as a second striker. He would aid Robert Lewandowski, as he find it incredibly hard to attack Atletico's defense. This would mean that out wide on the left-hand side of the pitch, Alejandro Balde would overlap, looking to maintain the width. Given this defensive setup from Atletico, Barcelona would now have to come up with another way to attack the Atletico Madrid defense. We then began to see Lamine Yamal drop deep on the right-hand side, reviving the ball from the back three to shape that Barcelona would build up in. This would allow Jules Koundé to underlap upfield, increasing the numbers Barcelona would have upfield. But Lamine Yamal would for the most part play switch passes to the left-hand side for Alejandro Balde or Rafinha. This switch play would make it that much more challenging for Atletico to effectively defend, as their defensive shape had a few flaws. Let's take a moment to understand these flaws. Atletico Madrid defending in their 5-3 to shape would apply a mixture of man marking and zonal marking. They would attempt to close off Barcelona's most ball-progressive players in Pedri and Dani Olmo. Not only this, but they also track the movements of Lamine Yamal, Robert Lewandowski and Rafinha. This approach seems like a good idea. However, it did have counter-intuitive results in this game, when these Barcelona players would move out of position in order to find space. It would pull the Atletico Madrid defense in one direction, leaving space on the opposite side of the pitch. This is one way Hansi Flick looked to create space on the pitch. Another way was to have Barcelona players rotate consistently, especially when they would be in the transition. Barcelona would be able to consistently find space, especially in the half space where we saw Rafinha and Dani Olmo attack. Whenever we would see Atletico Madrid push high up is when we would see Barcelona attack space fluently. However, Barcelona had defensive flaws of their own. Let's take a look at these flaws. Atletico Madrid approached the game in a 4-3-1 shape, and as stated, this shape would sit deep, looking to attack on the counter. This is how Atletico got their first goal. Through the game, we would see Atletico Madrid making constant attempts at attacking the space in behind Barcelona. The problem was that Atletico had no target man on the pitch. This would make it incredibly challenging for Atletico Madrid to fluently attack the Barcelona defense, as there would be no target man upfield in order to achieve hold-up play. Looking to overlap both fullbacks, we saw Atletico for the most part attack from the wide areas. This would begin to show signs of effectiveness in the second half after Sorloth came on. Even after this, we would see Barcelona effectively executed exceptional defensive executions. Barcelona were able to flexibly adapt and outplay Atletico Madrid in this game. Atletico would look to attack the space in behind Barcelona. However, even though Barcelona did concede from a pass in behind, they did manage to overcome this and come away with the win. Final score: Barcelona 3, Atletico Madrid 1.